Hard hat Jimmy start the show.
John, been waiting to put this bad boy on all season. I said I'm not going to put it on till the Celtics show up and come to work in the playoffs, and they did that tonight on a weekend, no less, double time. Came out just guns blazing, punched the Hawks right in the face. We knew that they were going to give up some of that lead later in the second half. It's the NBA. It's going to happen. You're not going to just hold a 30-point lead or build it. So the second half happened, and it is what it is. We'll talk about the good and the bad from this game, but the best part of this game was the way the Celtics came out with the hard hats, the lunch pails, the work boots, and they took it to the Hawks inside. They didn't rely on the three-point shooting. They got Rob involved early. They got second chance opportunities, and they took a 1-0 series lead in this series against the Hawks.
Easy.
Cheers, John. Cheers.
Uh-oh. Let me look at it.
I'm not gonna.
Let me inspect it. It was great. A lot to talk about.
Yep.
We'll kind of lay it down because there's quite a few topics worth discussing.
Oh, yeah.
Let you guys know briefly, FanDuel, and I'm going to say somebody on this panel might have bet the Hawks at the half. We're not going to make a big deal about it. But
bet the Hawks. I'll say this. I didn't want to tweet it because I didn't want the negative backlash, but I did want to help out the people who
I understand.
follow me.
Okay.
I bet the Hawks 25.5 points. I didn't think they were going to win, but I didn't think that they were going to win. So I didn't think the Celtics were going to keep that lead.
Okay, well, anyway, you want to get into stuff, you see it right there.
I think Sherrod's here, bro.
I know Sherrod's here. I have to do things like this. Bang! Look at that. See the logo?
There
see
he is.
Timing?
Oh, I see what you did there.
Well done, John Zannis. Well done.
I've got it down to the second. I click that. It takes about a second delay. Then I hit Sherrod, and they both appear at the same time. That's elite.
Love that move.
That's elite studio management right there.
Young butterfly.
That's why you're
young
top
butterfly
left.
Jimmy, exactly. Young butterfly Jimmy Toscano learned from the sensei.
FanDuel.com/Boston. Get your $200 in bonus bets. This deal is still kicking around. Go get it if you haven't gotten it already. Bet $5, get 200 in bonus bets. It's not going to be there forever, guys. So
honestly, do it. I just tossed it all on Bruin. I tossed a couple of Stanley Cup matchups, and I got unbelievable odds on them. $100 bonus bucks to win 1,800 if the Bruins beat the Oilers, for example. Just do it. It costs you nothing.
Just do it, dudes. Just do it. Anyway, so that's what we got. Getting back into the game, and again, among the things we'll talk about, the kind of hot start, Hawks not being able to hit anything. I don't think it's going to be that way necessarily all series. Jalen, how he looked. The hands seemed to be a bit of an issue, but he paddled through it. But we'll get into that. If it was bad, if it bothered him, you couldn't tell too much other than, some loose dribbles, and he kind of kept looking at it a little bit. Marcus Smart played a terrific defensive game.
Yeah,
Jason Tatum disappeared for a little bit. Grant Williams disappeared completely. This is something we talked about on the preview, and
we all shot it down. You were right.
And I was saying it. I had 1.5 DNP-CDs for the series, and I would have gone over because I don't think he's part of their plans right now. Because, again, you saw how tight that rotation was in the second half. You got a little Hauser in the first, and then not much else really in the second as they clamped it down, even though they had a comfortable lead. So maybe some garbage time minutes, but it's a tight rotation. So, Sherrod, we'll kind of start with you. You're like, kind of first off takeaways.
They got the playoff backdrop going on now over there in the TD Garden.
Yeah, curtains. What did they serve first? What was the pregame meal?
Oh my goodness, we had let's see, there's some kind of real funky chicken, some kind of sirloin action.
Okay.
The longest potato wedges I've seen. The potato wedges, it was like looking at Kawhi Leonard's fingers chopped up. They were that damn long. Never seen them that long before. It was good. I mean, it was a good spread, but it's playoffs. The Celtics, they're top 10 during the regular season. They go top 3, top 2 postseason with the meals. So I tell you who's eating well.
They like to kick it up. Yeah.
Who's eating well?
Damn near anyone on the Celtics roster who stepped in the floor in the first half. Everyone was eating well.
They call this a segue.
They were eating birds.
They were eating well.
Poultry. Poultry was on the menu.
The thing that I was really surprised at was how two things. One, how easily the Celtics got to the rim in the first half, and two, how easily the Celtics kept going to the rim. Because we've seen this before. We've seen that movie before where something is working really well, and then they decide, we're going to just take a bunch of threes now. They didn't do that in the first half. Derek White getting to the rim, Tatum getting to the rim, Jalen getting to the rim, Marcus Smart, you name it, they got there. And they stayed with that until basically the second half, where they kind of pretty much took the second half off, it felt like.
Well, it did
But
feel like that.
A 32-point cushion, I can see that happening.
So here's the funny thing is, it felt that way, and the chat is filled with, they just took a bunch of threes. They just took a bunch of threes. Really, what happened was they just slowed down.
Yeah.
And like I said this to myself, like with a 30-point lead at the half, nothing but bad things can happen in the second half. You piss it away, it gets annoyingly close, someone gets hurt, blah, blah, blah. Like, rarely does anything better happen than what's already happened in the first half. So you're just like, let's just wrap this up and get home. And it was going that way for a while. They were sleepwalking the first half of the third quarter, and they still had 26, 28-point lead. But then it was a late run, for Atlanta to get it down to where they got it to. And then you're messing around getting it to 12. But the stats were, in the first half, it was, I think, 16 threes. And in the second half, it was 17 threes. The big difference, 17 assists on 27 made buckets in the first half. And I think it was only 8 assists on 15 made buckets in the second half. So they went cold. They stopped moving the ball. They stopped playing with pace. And every time they slow down, it's such a predictable outcome. The offense stagnates. The other team gets transition. Buckets going the other way, and big leads whittle down fast, and that's what happened. So it's kind of annoying that it happened, but the lead was so big, like you could kind of excuse it, right? I mean, you don't want to see it, but like it was. I felt Jimmy put it on the thread. It felt inevitable. Thanks, Doug.
Yeah. I mean, there's no question that they were not going to win this game by 30 or even 25 points. You knew they were going to cut into that lead. But again, when they made their runs, I mean, it was Jaylen Brown to the rescue. He had that stretch where he got down, I think, like 12 or 13 points, and he scored 6 straight points, leading to a timeout. Jaylen Brown, obviously, if you're talking about like the best player in the series, game one, without doubt, it was Jaylen Brown. And Atlanta, we touched on this a little bit earlier. The way they defended Trae Young, I don't know if Trae Young is going to have much success, because I look at every switch that he tried to get on, and it was a bad matchup for him. If you're dealing with Derek White, you've got to deal with length and good lateral quickness. You're dealing with Marcus Smart, you've got more of the same. Malcolm Brogdon, I thought, did a good job of leading him to wherever the help was. Al Horford leading him to wherever the help was. He never could get any kind of flow of rhythm because the Celtics had him absolutely locked up defensively, having him go where they wanted him to be as opposed to where he wanted to.
Am I muted or unmuted?
You're unmuted, Hard.
We hear you, Jimmy. We know you're here.
I'm seeing things flashing up on the screen. I think I briefly said it. Like it's the NBA, and especially with this Celtics team, we've seen them jump out to big leads, and we've seen them give them up. But I still never felt that there was enough time for the Hawks to complete that comeback. Yeah, Bogdanovich had a couple. I thought the Celtics got, like John said, they slowed it down a bit. I think they got a little sloppy. Some turnovers there in the second half, fourth quarter. Missoula was pretty critical of them actually in between the third and the fourth quarter on the TV broadcast. He didn't like the way that they sort of ended that third quarter. Certainly, we all watched it. I'm not gonna harp on that for the same reasons John kind of mentioned. I think the Celtics did a lot of good things in this game. I am a little weirded out, and I know Bobby mentioned it too, that Tatum just went from, kind of did a 180 on this game from the first half to the second half. He was pretty non-existent in the second half, but I just love the way these guys came out. We haven't even mentioned Rob yet, and he was probably the guy that set, he set everything in motion in this one to start it off. I think a lot of people's focus was on how Jaylen Brown was going to look and this and that, but they got Rob involved early. He was whipping the ball around. He was extremely active, as we've seen in spurts this year. I said it all season. I'll be the first to apologize if he just goes into beast mode and the Celtics were just kind of, treating him in bubble wrap all year. I'll be the first to say, hand up, I was wrong. I didn't think that was it. I just thought that he was just not capable of getting to that level that we all thought that he once was. Tonight was a perfect example of the Rob that they need if they want to go to the promised land. I just thought that he did so much for them on the offensive end, not even talking about defensively, which he was still doing his thing, that block, that he had that he just kind of grabbed the ball to. I forget who that was on. But I think he had like 8 points in the first quarter. I mean, it's rare if he gets 8 points all year. I don't know what he ended up with, but just the idea that they can get him involved on offense is a whole additional like X factor to this team.
Sherrod tweeted it too. A miraculous occurrence to see both Brown and Tatum connect with lobs on Rob. I think
Yeah.
it was 3 total in the
Yeah.
game between the two of them. One, they never even look for him on those
Right.
things. Two, they connected, which was great to see. So yeah, it's weird. You're right. You do a bunch of things, but it just looked. Let's just look at the first half as the only thing that really mattered in the game. And the focus where they came out, Tatum was.
We can't say that completely, John. But
I'm not
I
saying it
understand.
completely. What I'm saying is, let's look at what was winning time, and they won the game in the first half. Okay,
Yeah.
it's what they did in the second is annoying. You have to wonder if the game was an 8 or 10 point game, would they have gone into slowdown mode there? Maybe not. So, like I said, you can't know what they would have done in a closer game in the second half there to be able to judge it completely. You'd rather not piss away big leads and have to play your starters. Like, there's no reason Horford should have played 38 tonight, White 39 tonight. I'm going to get into Joe's rotations in a minute because it was weird again. But you would have liked to spare yourself a little bit of minutes in some of that stuff there. But the first half, just looking at that, Tatum came out like just ripping. I'm going to get whatever I want to get whenever I want to get it. I'm just going to the basket, and that's that. Rob was just flying all over the place, absolutely like ridiculous Rob. Jalen, who again I thought was clearly, first 3-4 possessions, he didn't even literally touch the ball with his right hand. But, his shot didn't look affected. He threw down a dunk. I think if anything, it was the handle more than anything at all with him, where he couldn't attack the way he would normally attack. But the other stuff, the shot, the dunking, the this, the that, none of that looked bad at all. Connected on a couple back doors, couple like cleanup buckets for him. But like Tatum, you see how focused Tatum was on that backcourt violation when Brown threw it to White. He was so mad, and like you like seeing that kind of fire from Tatum. Like, come on, guys, let's get it. So they were there. They were assassins in the first half. They were there to just snatch souls. White was incredible as well. Smart, I thought, start to finish, great game. Then they fell asleep. But there was so much to like in the first half. It's hard to like just focus entirely on pissing that lead away in the second half, even though we've seen that movie before.
Yeah. Well, first half Tatum was, I think,
amazing.
Top 5 league MVP, not just top 5 Tatum, but like top 5 NBA Tatum. Just the way he just commanded things offensively, was very solid defensively, and we saw a little, as John pointed out, we saw a little bit of motion from him in the first half. And that's something that we've all been clamoring for, to see him. I know he's competitive. It's just, as a fan, you want to see that sometimes. You don't want to see the guy go 3 for 17 and just be like, well, I just had one of those games, and then go 14 for 17 and say the same thing, just one of those games. No, you want to see him just visibly engaged from time to time. And I thought we saw that in the first half. But the second half, I don't know what the hell happened. It just seemed that, he might as well just, got a seat in the stands with us and watch the game, because I didn't feel he had the same level of engagement, whereas Jaylen Brown from beginning to end was locked in and just absolutely dominating his matchup. And I think that's when the Hawks go back and look at the film and they're looking at making some adjustments. Obviously, how they defend Jaylen Brown has to change. And I think if I'm them, I'm going to roll the dice and say, okay, we know Jaylen Brown can beat us. Not single-handed, but certainly he can be a dominant force. Jason Tatum, can you be a dominant force for the entire game?
And again, I don't even think Jaylen Brown did it's like, I think he was at 70% of what he can do today.
You knew this wasn't full-blown Jaylen, but
like,
he was better than anyone on there.
I think it was very clear he could not use that right to get aggressive. He had one really speed dribble drive to the right side in the third quarter there, and that's the first time he did that. That's the thing where he just walks by people, get it, go, bye, gone. Like, he wasn't able to do that as much because I think he was a little, and you saw just how many times he just literally just rolled off his right hand. I think it was in his head, so he wasn't attacking as aggressive, and they still couldn't defend him. So
he took more mid-range shots than he normally does.
He took a lot of mid
because he always has that matchup advantage.
But I also think he was reluctant to dribble into traffic.
I agree. I agree.
And so he did that, but that's in his bag. So again, that's a thing that he can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing how when he has a hand type injury or a wrist or whatever, he can adapt and still be as impactful and still be efficient. And there's some other superstars around the league can't quite do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Right.
like if they got a wrist injury, it's like, oh God, that's 4 for 22 tonight.
I
Yeah.
think
So
I think it's definitely something that's affecting him somewhat, but I had no idea to expect from him tonight because just we didn't really get that much info on him. I mean, prior to the game, I think we joked about our last show. Like we just saw that he had four fingers and a thumb, like just a couple days ago. Like I was just relieved that that was the
Allegedly, I still
case.
think it was Photoshop.
Yeah,
I had two different fans point that out to me, like, "Hey, listen, I was down close by, and yes, he's got 4 fingers and a thumb." I'm like, "I checked too," and he's like, and I went
confirmed.
back again just to make sure
Yeah.
my eyes were playing tricks on me.
I
Yeah.
think he threw down a pretty nasty dunk too in this one, which I was really surprised to see. I thought that was going to be the part of his game that
Angry.
he was going to
Yeah.
stay away from because I mean anyone who's cut their finger, I mean that hurts. You know,
That was like
you
to
can
the
open that
side
cut
of
up
the
again.
head.
Yeah.
Boom.
So
Hammer.
I think that, like you said, John, he's not 100%, but I think also the Celtics are so much better than the Hawks that he'll be fine by the time this series is over, and it really shouldn't affect him moving forward. It looks like the Celtics caught a break there, or he caught a break there, because I don't know what the hell happened, but dude, like just don't do anything stupid, please,
It
for the
doesn't
next
matter.
couple of months.
Like I said, it was either the biggest story or a non-story. Here's
Yeah.
the thing. It bugged him a little. He scored 29 points.
Right. That's what it
if
comes
this
down
is the
to.
worst you're getting, and it's going to get better, and it's the Hawks, and you got 3 days till the next one, and then a little gap, it looks like best case scenario to get something like this out of the way. You wouldn't want to see him at all restricted against a much tougher opponent later on in the playoffs. But again, even 80% Jaylen Brown or whatever he felt he was at today was good enough. But again, I know there's people in the chat who are kind of like concerned about the 12, getting it down to 12. It's not
Sure.
not a thing, but again, I just don't think it's the thing today. I really don't.
Well, here's the thing. I my concern level would have been to me understandable if it became a single digit game. As long as they maintained a double digit lead, I'm like, okay, they're gonna let Hawks are gonna get back into this, but if they can maintain that double digit lead, this game is going to be chalked up as just one of those. You know what? They crushed them in the first half. They eased up off the gas, and they won by double digits, and that's fine.
And they covered.
And they covered, right? Which to be honest with you, I didn't think they would going into the game. I thought Atlanta was going to play a little bit better than they did.
Yeah.
But there's certain things that Atlanta did that are consistent with what they've done all season long. And if you're Atlanta, it's like you didn't get the best shot that the Celtics could throw, and they basically had your ass down by 30. You can play better. But it's pretty clear that you're not going to win this series unless something goes dramatically wide right for the Celtics in a way that just decimates them beyond anything we've seen in the regular season. And short of that, it's not a matter of if the Celtics are going to win. It's whether it's going to be 4 or 5 games. I still, like I said, from the beginning, I thought it was going to be a sweep. And there was nothing I saw today that made me think otherwise. Because the Hawks, they have some significant flaws that they can't fix in this series. They're bad three-point shooting team. They were like 20th or 21st in the league in that. And they missed, I think, like 15 of the first 16. And Trae Young, good scorer, but he could not get any kind of flow
Nope.
rhythm.
The guards, too big.
And the guards and DeJounte Murray, I think, is a good player,
Yeah.
but this is not a good matchup for him because he has a significant size disadvantage, and his quickness isn't able to free him up the way he's used to because these guards have great lateral quickness. So those are your top two sources of offense. And Al Horford, I thought, really was playing at like maybe 30% of what he could do. He was just out there defense, rebounding. There was no pressure on him to do anything out of the ordinary. And it's like he's gonna have a big game in this series too. And it's just if you're Atlanta, there's nothing you can feel good about. There's nothing you should walk away here feeling good about.
Well, the one thing, sure. I mean, they missed a lot of shots in the first. I mean, they were the opposite of the Celtics in the first half. Celtics were very active, and credit to them. But I thought the Hawks just missed a lot of open shots, a lot of shots that maybe they do hit. I know they're not a great three-point machine, but this was a bad Trae Young game. I mean, he didn't even. What did he end up with? 18 points or something like that.
He had 16 and was 5 for 18.
So he had a horrible game. I think if you're the Hawks, the one thing you have to do is just chalk it up to, listen, we're not going to play that bad again offensively, right?
Right.
And if that's the case, then maybe it is a closer game in the second half. Celtics, I don't think can expect to jump out to the 25-point lead every game or 30 points. I mean, I think that they came out firing today at home. They had all the momentum going their way. And at some point, at halftime, that's in 99% of the times a lead that's just insurmountable to come back from. So I don't expect the Hawks to just lay down and die for the next
No.
3 games in a row.
That's the thing. Yeah, I'm with
Yeah.
you, Jimmy. I think the one thing we have to look at is you get these games, and we've seen a few of them throughout.
But that's why people are concerned about the second half, John. Because if let's say the Celtics were up 10 at halftime, they can't afford to go
but
into
I don't know
those
that they would have
lulls.
played that
Right.
crappy.
Well, that's
Yeah,
the thing.
that's the thing.
I,
I don't. Yeah,
But it's still
the
not a
Sixers
good
are-
habit to get in. It's still
No,
not a good
you're
habit
right.
to get
You're right.
in the
But I don't
playoffs,
think
too.
they would have
It's
been that
not.
lethargic if they were
But
a
like
closer
it's
game.
game one. You're running a six. You're running a 1,600 meter, and you're a full lap ahead after 3 to go. You're like, I can just walk to the finish line, and I'm still gonna win this race.
Sure.
You see somebody coming in your rearview mirror, be like, oh, let me pick up the pace and jog. I'm still gonna get home. But it's like it's like the first heat. You've got a million more to go. Like it's game one of like what you're hoping is 16, wins and who knows 20 something playoff games before you go. I can see it, but again, I hear you. I'm not dismissing it entirely. Bad habits are bad habits. You'd rather just not see them at any point in time
Right.
and stay with it. But it is interesting. I want to quickly just pause, and we'll tell you guys what Jimmy got.
Oh, sorry.
Another one, Dirk.
Yeah, you let our guy Dirk shine for a minute here.
He's getting spry.
He's not scared. He says it's just the Celtics, letting them. But again, I think we all agree with that. But that's just maybe you get away with that line of thinking against the Hawks, but it's only going to get harder and harder. Like you just don't want to fall into those habits. And again, we talked about this real quick. It allows the minutes to pile up. If you're gonna let that happen, you can't go to your bench in the second half or in the fourth quarter when maybe you would have emptied the bench. Grant doesn't get his DNP-CD. Instead, like you said, you got Al Horford playing 38 minutes. Maybe he plays 30 minutes in a game where they don't let the foot off like that.
Yep, it's valid. I'm not completely tossing it. I just, like I said, it's hard to know what would have happened here. Where I think you're going to run into problems is like what happens if the Hawks come out. This is not a terrible. I mean, they're not a great 3-point shooting team, as Sherrod pointed out. But it's not a terrible offensive team. They have players who can score. What happens if they come out and they're not missing literally everything, and they put pressure on you, and you're not hitting as much as you're hitting there, and you're in a bit of a dogfight. You want to see how they fare there. The point is, it's not always going to. I'm less concerned about about the second half. I'm more concerned about complacency off of this win, thinking it's always going to be this easy, because it might not always be this easy. The other team comes out, as I said, they're hitting shots early and this and that. Hey, thank you. Really,
JB,
second half.
Good friend
My
of the
man.
show. He does a lot of these shows. Thank you, guys. Really annoying second half, but you all cheer me up. And Sherrod is like a human tranquilizer because he always calms me down with rationality. All right. That started off. Seemed like he meant that you making him fall asleep, but what it is
Sherrod,
you make him feel better.
Sherrod's a nice indica,
Yeah.
it's just kind of chill you out. End of the night,
not too high, not too low. If Sherrod's freaking out. If Sherrod's freaking out about something,
everybody.
Everyone's freaking out about something.
Yeah, I'm like a 35.
John's baseline is freaking
35% sativa. You're friggin'. Just bringing it here. Let's quickly tell you again. Just quick reminder about FanDuel. They want us to let you guys know, in addition to basketball, which everybody here's a basketball fan, that baseball obviously has started. Jimmy and I were talking about maybe seeing Ohtani on Monday. We'll see what happens there. But grand slams, no hitters, Shohei Ohtani being the best player who's ever played. All of that stuff is here. It's back. And he is friggin' remarkable. America's #1 sports book and the official partner of Major League Baseball. That, of course, is FanDuel. Also our exclusive wagering partners. New customers en masse. Get in the action, $200. Bonus bets guaranteed. FanDuel.com/Boston. Check it out. Really safe, easy to use app. Like I said, 200 in bonus bets, win or lose once you make a $5 wager. FanDuel.com/Boston, official partner of Major League Baseball. Do have to tell you, of course, 21 years old. Gotta be at least 21. Gotta be present in Massachusetts. Take care of this. $10 initial deposit required. First online bet has to be a real money wager. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, hope is here. Go to gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 to check it out. So yeah, going back to what we were talking about, and I don't want to get full into game 2 preview, but like, Sherrod, I was with you. I said 4. I do not believe. Not only do I not believe Atlanta can string together enough to get a couple of wins in the series, I don't even know what they can do to win a game. I really don't know. Because I do think that like the Celtics' best to Atlanta's best is so much higher that like Celtics have to really play pretty off and Atlanta have to play pretty well, I think, to get one of those games. And you never know what'll happen, but I think the levels are pretty significant here. And I do think that just the Celtics are just a nightmare for Atlanta because they can play defense. They've got those big guards. Trae Young looked like he was, Smart, White, whoever. It's just, and the length, wings in his way. He just looked like he was just didn't really know how to get his in this game, to the point that like most telling things here with Trae Young, down 14, he comes to the scorer's table, or he's at the scorer's table. They cut it to 14 and they send him back, late in the fourth quarter. And then he finally did come back in, but they were like, why don't you stay there? I like what we're doing here.
Wow. Look at this.
What's that?
All the way from Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yeah?
Global.
We got some oil money.
Global.
We're going global. Yeah. We're huge in Saudi Arabia. People don't even know that. I'm
trying to tell you something, fellas.
I might have to take a private jet to Saudi Arabia. Zip around. Thanks.
Yeah. Well done. Appreciate that.
Thank
one.
You.
That's a great one.
Welcome, Saudi Arabia. I know we got Philippines. I know we got a lot of Australia, like Dirk and the gang. We have so many Australian podcasters on our network too. But yeah, I mean, what do you think? Atlanta, what do they do? What do they do?
So many things have to, like, the stars have to align in such a way that it's hard to imagine it happening, that they will get all the things they need to do to be successful. And the Celtics will have to do a lot of bad things along the way. I mean, tonight, Malcolm Brogdon, it was 1 for 6. Didn't really have a great game offensively. You look at Al Horford, was take 2 for 4, but Al really wasn't looking for a shot, and they weren't really making that part of what they do. He didn't have very many catch and shoot opportunities. And you start going down the line, the Celtics, even the guys who played well, it wasn't their best version of who they are. Like Jaylen Brown, as scary as it is for Atlanta, is going to be better going forward. Tatum is probably going to play with a little bit more consistency. He was very effective and impactful in the first half, but I think we'll see more of a slow drip Tatum the rest of the way. Derek White was hitting it. Marcus Smart had a good game. But none of them had a great game that you're like, damn, he put them on their back. I mean, Jaylen was good, but this was not that abnormal of a game for Jaylen Brown. It seemed bigger because of the hand injury. So if you're Atlanta, you may be telling yourself that you're telling yourself that we made a lot of strides in the second half, and we just need to build off of that going forward. And I'm telling you right now, that's bullshit. When you get down 30, when the game mattered most in the first half, there's a reason why you lost the game. Because when it mattered most, they showed up and you didn't. And when they had firm control of the game, you chipped away at that. That's a false positive. You think that what you did in the second half is going to automatically carry over into the next game.
Exactly. Yeah, don't get cocky.
If I got my ass kicked like that, I would absolutely try to play that card. That, we did a lot of good things in the second half, but in the back of my mind, I know I'm telling these people some bullshit because all they did was just ease up off the gas, and we made the most of that.
Yeah, the Celtics did it. You didn't do it. Let's focus a little on Joe. It's in the chat, and I think it's worth talking. And again, not to harp on the negative, but again, when you're assessing the Celtics team, you're not literally concerned about anything other than, is there going to be any impediments on their road to the finals? Joe Mazzulla is an obvious wild card because you don't know how he's going to perform here. You're not going to say like, well, he outcoached Quinn Snyder, and this because there's a talent deficient. There's a big talent gap between these two teams. But the rotations were curious, especially in the second half. It is interesting to me that you've got, and again, they were both playing well, so there's nothing wrong there. But I really think Joe has to strive between those three guards. We had that one game during the season where they were like 28, 27, and 26. I really think Joe wants to come close to hitting that most games. In the 30 range, give or take for most of them. I don't understand a night like tonight. And again, Smart was only 32, but White was 39 and Brogdon 21. Particularly with and then you went Tatum 40 and Brown 37. Use Brogdon, man. Like, cut 3 minutes off of Tatum, 3 off of Brown, and 4 off of White, and get Brogdon up to 30. Like, what are you doing there? Like, why is that? He went double big at a time where I don't think double big is called for ever in this series. In the third quarter, that didn't necessarily make sense to me. And Rob was a freak, and he plays 21 minutes. He made so many things happen for you, but Al is safer, and when things get tight, they always opt for safer. And then so you get late in that game, and Rob hadn't played in a little bit, but you're like, well, I'm going to ride Al down the stretch through the end. And Al plays 38 minutes. Joe's got to get comfortable letting other people in there and not have to always rely on his kind of safety valve sort of players. There's no reason for Tatum and Brown to be playing 40 minutes in this game. No reason for White to play 39. No reason for Horford to play 38.
Yeah,
I think he's just getting lost with it. Like,
you know what?
Like I think he's just I don't know what it is. He gets into a comfort zone. He's admitted to forgetting about guys before. Like, I probably should have gone to him. I just got away from me.
Yeah, and that's part of his growth and development. And that's, when I look at the things that Joe is not great at, I think most of us feel confident saying that he's gotten better at those things over time. The thing that I'm concerned about is I don't know if Joe recognizes this as an area he has to get better at. Like, when we remember early in the year when we talked about the damn timeouts and how Joe was just stashing those things like a squirrel does nuts for no reason. He got better as the season went on and utilizing timeouts to slow down runs and do the kind of things that he, as the head coach, should do. And I'm hoping that this will be another one of those type of things that he figures out how to better manage that situation. But again, it is an issue. And I think it's one that I'm hoping that he recognizes as an area of growth that he has to get better at, as opposed to it just being something that, those Yahoo fans and those knuckleheads at CLNS report are bitching and moaning about, because it's real.
It is. It's weird. It just seems like it wouldn't be the hardest thing to do of all the things for a guy who's like.
Doesn't he have like assistants that can be like, hey,
he's a
coach.
legit basketball survivor. I mean, he knows basketball inside out, cold. He's in the gym all day long. He spends a ton of time in preparation. He's an extremely intelligent basketball mind. This seems like such an easy thing to manage. It is weird, but I do think some of it is you're a newer coach and you have your kind of your safety blankets maybe sometimes, and you lean on things and lean on people at times and forget about others or whatever. But it's a strange one. This doesn't seem like it would have been as hard. It's especially when you shorten the rotation. It shouldn't be that hard to manage.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the timing of maybe the Hawks comeback made it a little bit difficult for him to go too deep, but he could have done it sooner. I mean, they were up 30 at halftime, so you can't tell me that there wasn't an opportunity, earlier maybe in the third quarter or at some point in the second half. I don't remember exactly the rotations, and how long he went with certain guys, but I think the fact that the Hawks did kind of claw back into it probably scared him a little bit into going with that second unit more often. But I mean, Brogdon only played 21 minutes. You can't tell me that he couldn't have played a little bit more, I guess, in this game. But we've seen it. We've seen it all year. He's stuck with certain guys through thick and thin. I mean, at least now he's calling some timeouts. Prior to that, he would just let them figure it out on their own and not call any timeouts. So
yeah, them blowing the lead screwed them too.
Right.
That was part of it. Like, that was part of it. Because I think you would have started to shorten guys. Jalen played the whole third, I believe. Tatum came out at the 4-minute mark, but you were deep into having played your starters without going. I don't even know if he used Hauser in the third quarter there. I think the point was to empty the bench a little, but the Hawks cut it down and then they cut it further, and then that screwed him. So it might have gotten away with him a little bit there. Where maybe that third quarter he leaned too hard into his core guys without mixing it up, and that's where he got trapped.
He's just gotta, again, I think it's just part of his whole growth program where I think he will get better at that as we go along. Hopefully it won't be a situation where he gets better at it next season. Hopefully he'll make those adjustments as we get deep into the playoffs. Whoa, 39. Whoa, damn.
40 SAR. What's that stand for again? I forget.
Huh?
SAR.
That's Saudi
Saudi
Arabian.
Arabian what?
Huh?
Oh, I thought
What-
it was like a dollar.
It's not an airport code or anything like that, Jimmy.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was. Were you surprised at all that
It's
Grant didn't get any minutes?
it's Real?
Thank you. That's what I was trying to figure out. What was
Yeah.
what was it called? But anyways, do you think that were you surprised, Sherrod, that he didn't go to Grant at all in this one, or?
No, there was no need. I mean, they were in control, and the things that Atlanta was doing to kind of get back to the game, those aren't areas that Grant was going to help you at. Grant's not going to help you slow down, Trae Young, who now is starting to make some shots and get into the free throw line. He's not going to do anything with DeJounte Murray. And Hunter had like a couple of good possessions where he did some things, but he was never he was never hitting with a steady diet of problems. Right. So, we talked about this, before this playoff series. I'm standing by this. I just don't think Grant's going to be of much help against Atlanta, and that's not a knock against him. It's just that he is in the category of a specialist, and there's certain matchups, certain teams, certain lineups that he can be most impactful against, and I don't think this is one of them. I just don't. And the fact that the Celtics didn't play him, and they were up by damn near 32 points in the first half, I think they got to figure out how to play the Hawks without Grant Williams.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
don't see it changing much.
Yeah,
and I just don't know why. Why would you change? I mean, even when you go back and look at the film, I don't think there's going to be like a stretch where they're thinking like, damn, if we would have had Grant out there, we'd have been up by 40. No.
Right.
Bobby at some point begged for Grant. Like, I think he was legit. Like, he's like, they need Grant right now.
He did text during the Hawks run. He's like, they need to try Grant. Like, nope, they really don't.
No, they don't. They don't.
Grant is the new Luke. Grant is the new Luke.
He is.
Grant is the new Raptors.
Yeah.
Grant is the new Raptors.
Does Grant make lemon squares? That's all I want to know.
No.
Not yet, but he's trending in that direction, Sherrod.
I love the one Boston T-shirt on the bench. Love that.
Those are awesome.
I love the colors. I love the whole vibe of it. I love when the Red Sox wear the blue and the yellow. I'm such a sucker for that. Yeah, Celtics should go alternate jersey with those colors, and I would friggin' love it.
That'd be sweet. And only wear it one time all year.
Yeah.
Now.
I love it. I would love it.
You know what's crazy? That those jerseys, John, the Red Sox don't even wear them on Marathon Monday. That always makes, like, those yellow, don't they have those yellow jerseys?
They don't?
I think they're wearing them today.
They wore them yesterday.
But they don't wear them on the actual Marathon Day, which to me makes no sense at all. But it is Red Sox, so I guess it's not really supposed to make sense.
That's weird.
That is effing weird, kid.
It is weird.
It's weird, kid.
Anyways,
Bobby and Josue are hanging out in the locker rooms. They're going to join us in a little bit, and we'll kind of get their fresh takes on the games here, and then we'll kind of react to what you guys are saying here in the chat.
Anything coming out on Twitter?
As the Celtics win, let you guys know again. Just quick sponsor update: Athletic Greens. Get yourself some. athleticgreens.com/garden. You get that free gift on the screen there. 1-year supply, vitamin D, 5 free travel packs. Good health starter for you if you want to start your day. 75 vitamins, minerals dropped in all of that stuff, adaptogens, probiotics. A glass of water, start your day. You're good. You don't have to chase a million pills and supplements. Takes care of literally everything that you could want. Sleep, focus, mental clarity, recovery, gut health, immune system, strengthens your immune system. So go check it out. athleticgreens.com/garden, 1-year supply, vitamin D, 5 free travel packs. Also get yourself a free t-shirt here. We got some sound coming in too. I'm going to start playing a little bit. Let me see if what we got. Oh yeah,
I love those t-shirts. Damn, those t-shirts are sweet.
They are good.
Fire.
Everyone but Jimmy gets one.
That's fair.
No, you finally got yours, right?
I got my phenomenal t-shirt. I want to get the team.
The new sexy stuff
team. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about.
It took me a year to get the phenomenal shirts.
We talked about Smart in addition to the defense. Some of the passes were great, even ones that kind of came off like him doing something that was sloppy and he got the ball back, found Rob on that one. The backdoor to Jaylen Brown for that vicious dunk was great. His passing was on point all night. I find it so odd when people go in on Smart after games like this because he shot a couple of.
This is a great game for Smart.
A couple of threes or forced a shot or two that they didn't like. I always find that peculiar. This wasn't one of those games. I think you guys are looking for something that didn't exist. This was a really, really, really close. Like, this is Marcus at his best both ways, particularly on defense where he was great. And I think that was a huge key. You can say Atlanta was cold, but I think the Celtics just shut them down and made things really, really, really difficult in the first half. And this is Missoula, I believe, talking about it. Still rocking the Boston One stuff, which I love. So here's Missoula talking about Smart.
Is there any concern at all that you had that in the second half?
Yeah, I'm very concerned.
Seriously?
No, I'm not concerned at all. I mean, this team has played great for the entire season. Great. That's going to happen. It's actually good that we went through it. We had to feel that. And it's important that we learn from it. So for us to be able to get a win and at the same time know we can play better is good.
So sorry, that one is obviously on. I have a Marcus bite too. That's on the blowing the blowing the lead, obviously.
Not concerned, shocker.
Fair, yeah.
Well, I mean, but that's just, par for the course for Joe. I mean, if they lost by 10, 15 points, he wouldn't be all that concerned, I don't think. And if they blow a 30-some-odd lead and only win by 13 or 14, whatever, he's not going to be that concerned. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
I wish that he, just didn't straddle that emotional fence, win or lose. I mean, pick a damn side. There's a reason why there's two sides to this stuff, because you're supposed to pick one. Last I checked, standing on the fence is not very comfortable. You can't stay there forever. At some point, you're either going to pick a side or the side will pick you. And I just wish he was a little bit more. But when you think about it, isn't that kind of how Tatum is? And Tatum's your best player. The coach and the best player are very much aligned in that regard.
It's a weird thing. We criticized it, and a couple things were written about it after the game the Washington game where they blew the 1 seed, and everyone's like, "What do you think?" And they're like, "Nothing. It doesn't matter. Whatever." And everyone's like, "Oh, okay." Because the other day you guys were like, "We're really into this 1 seed thing." No, whatever. You got to win on the road. We're fine. And everyone's like, "Okay, cool. I thought you'd be mad, but fine, whatever." Like, it's cool. Like, so there is we're going to block out the noise vibe to it. I'm not going to, whatever. They don't want to be baited. They don't want the media. Joe clearly, and your boy Gary, he doesn't want to go down that road. Mm-hmm. Jaylen doesn't want to go down that road. Tatum's always Tatum with the way he answers, kind of like, I don't know, whatever, but like, they're just not taking the bait. Fine. That's how they talk. I think that's what they're doing more than actually not caring. Like, when they're going in the film room, I got to imagine Joe's going to be like, so what the F are we doing here? Like, there's no way he's not bringing it up. But I think outwardly, that's a thing that they've done all year, which is we're not going to let it, I'm not going to be baited into what you want me to say about, like, yeah, and I'm not going to call everybody out in front of you and give you your pound of flesh so you can go write about it. I'm just not going to do it. He hasn't done it all year. He's not going to start doing it now. So I've come to accept it. It's weird because it's oddly defensive and like, what? Who are you calling dumb? Like, no. We didn't say that. Like, nobody said anything. Like, who are you calling stupid? He's just, that's how he answers questions. Fine. That's fine. It's more media.
Yeah, we haven't gotten any real info out of him since he became head coach.
Nothing. So that's what he does.
That's what it is.
He obfuscates. He's a little bit defensive. He goes back and forth with you, but he's not giving you the goods. You're not walking out of there with like, "Yep, I got Joe to say the thing I wanted him to say." He didn't do it all year. He's not going to.
Sidebar alert.
Yeah.
Sherrod numbers.
Yeah, but you got to remember that he was coached by Huggins, and Huggins doesn't give you squat other than fury, frustration, and just a higher level of pissosity. That's a new word I'm just making up right now.
Yeah, I got it.
The ability to piss you off. And Joe can be that way. But the thing I come back with Joe is this. it's clear he knows how to coach. There's no doubt about that. And I hope that, as he kind of processes, what he thinks we're trying to get him to say the gotcha moments, I hope he understands that if he were a crappy coach, we would be talking more about that. We would be talking about your actual, in real time decisions that are effed up. We're talking about stuff that is easily correctable. And Josue, where the hell are you?
Checking it
Oh
out.
yeah, there he
Josue
is.
just got into the interrogation room.
Josue is
I mean,
inside a
Sherrod,
safe right now.
You
Are
know,
you okay?
you know my favorite spot to connect from. It's not available to us, right, for obvious reasons. So I had to improvise. So don't worry where I'm at. I'm nearby.
Blink twice if you're
I'm making
safe.
sure I'm as close. I'm not near you, so we don't do the whole microphone thing. Sometimes it happens with us.
so glad
Just wait, blink twice if there's somebody's got like a gun to your head right now. Like
I'm fine. Dude. I'm fine. Dude. It's not cool.
If I need to rescue you, Josue, just rub the right side of your cheek. You just let me know.
Middle of the show, I just put up like a sign that says like "Help me" right here. Like,
Yeah.
on his eyelids,
What you got, Josue?
man.
What you got?
What a day at the Garden, man! What a day. Joe Mazzulla.
Oh, you got a fresh cut for the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I got to do it,
Yeah,
Jimmy.
you
No,
gotta
Jimmy,
do
that
it.
was a clue that we need to rescue him. That's what that was about.
That's what
That
that
was
was.
Josue gets his hair cut every like 4 days. I've
Yeah,
never
yeah.
seen anyone who does it.
Yeah,
so
he's like,
often.
man, it's Thursday. I had to get a cut.
What do you? It was getting rough, not rough, but it was a week away. I waited for the playoffs.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you're
Speaking of the
looking fly.
playoffs,
Anyway,
Anyway,
yeah.
you were talking to people. What did they say?
No, I mean I like what out of everyone, I like what Joe Mazzulla had to say, just about how he had to call that timeout when the Hawks got out to that quick 8-2 run the fourth quarter and just clean it up. I mean the fact that the Celtics team can go out and build that 30-point lead, and obviously this is overall a success. They won the game, they won by a large margin, but Mazzulla's trying to clean up every single bit that he can. It's not one of those wins where you're like, oh man, that was a close one, but it was enough for him to say, let's make sure we don't do that again. So I mean, that's something you're always going to expect from Joe Mazzulla. But I like that he hasn't changed, in the playoffs, obviously, and he's going to hold his guys accountable in that regard. However, the way the Celtics executed and cleaned it up after that timeout, I mean, that's what's most encouraging, and I think that's what's going to pretty much carry over, I think, into Game 2, unless the Atlanta Hawks can knock down some big shots and just learn how to execute, because a lot of those miss jump shots, missed 3-pointers, they converted into easy layups for the Celtics. 1-2 passes, getting right into their fast break and not wasting any time. And of course, having someone like Robert Williams off the bench and Malcolm Brogdon sort of reinforced that, made a difference.
yeah, Malcolm I thought was really important, because when we talk about his ability to impact the game, we often focus on what he's able to do, scoring the ball, playmaking. I thought tonight it was really more about his defense. I thought he was solid for the most part. I thought he was part of that, that group that was assigned to just minimize Trae Young's impact. And, when the best scorer on the opposing team has more shot attempts than points scored, you've gone above and beyond your job, because Trae tonight had like 15, 16 points, took 18 shots to get that. That's what you want, because you don't even need to look at the final box score to know that when the best player on the team does that, that team most likely loses.
Yeah, definitely, and that's who he is, right? That veteran that he's always been all season long. No surprise that he's a finalist for Sixth Man of the Year, because he is that guy, right? He's been that, and he's such a difference maker for the Celtics team. I expect him to do this often, throughout the playoffs, and take it up a notch when he needs to.
Quick update: Jalen said his hand split open mid-game.
Oh, that's not great.
Is that why he needed a new bandage? I figured that because
You said it's not great.
I said,
Jalen-
"Not great."
Damn it.
I figured, because he seems like the kind of guy that if he's gonna change the bandage, there has to be a really good
It
reason.
was so obvious.
I'm cut.
It
Was
was
it-
so
hey, was it
obvious.
after he dunked
couldn't
it?
dribble his first few touches. He's on the right side of the court, dribbling with his left hand, like into people. Like, instead of protecting the ball out here, he's dribbling with his left hand. He didn't want to touch it, and as soon as he did a couple times, you could see it was like,
Switches
this isn't
over.
right. Yeah. And it looked, whatever they did, it definitely, he got more comfortable later in the game, even though it still was bugging him. But he said it split open during the game. I think it's going to be all right. We'll take a look tomorrow.
No,
Jeez.
we
Yeah,
think.
I mean, well, John, you called it in the first quarter. You were saying how he just wasn't beating the eye test, at least John's eye test, and obviously that was the case when he got the bandage changed, which is what Joe Mazzulla told us. I figured it was something like that for that reason, but you saw the difference. I mean, he was dunking, he was in, hesitant.
His shot was fine.
Yeah.
He could dunk. He just couldn't dribble. He couldn't attack, and he didn't have
weird,
the confidence to dribble. So he could definitely didn't have feel for it. Whatever was going on. So he didn't have a feel. You saw a couple of his turnovers were just dribble, and the ball was over there. Like not even attacking, just literally just left his hand. So like I'm guessing it's a feel issue where it's something about him because it's like covering up too much of your hand. You're just not getting that feel on the dribble there, and it's getting loose on him. Still amazing that he did what he did considering. But like I said I thought he was at about 70% tonight because he wasn't able to attack and get into the paint as he normally would. But he still kind of did it with a little bit of guile, a little bit more mid-range, some like up and under sort of stuff, a couple of back cuts. I mean, he was still wildly effective for someone who wasn't comfortable. But again, not great. Like you've got something that the stitches just came out and it just split open again. What does that mean? Stitch it up again and not play? Like, I don't know,
No,
so
we'll play.
something you got to watch for.
Bigger bandage.
Yeah,
Whatever
whatever he was using.
coming out with the
Has to be more-
JTP.
Wasn't in.
Has to be more.
That's why they need a sweep so that he can actually the cut can actually
Look
heal.
at this. There's still people out here. I spent half the day on Twitter with these people who are like, "Stop it, John. He's literally telling you my hand split open."
What are they saying?
John, you're gonna make him leave. Stop
What are they saying?
Jeez, John, it's a you. This one, it's a you.
He's gonna leave
Oh,
Boston.
John, you're gonna make him leave. It's your fault.
John, it's a.
Well, John, your baseline
That's
is
another
panic,
one. 29-12.
so-
We know, but his hand split open. It was bothering him.
Yeah, this
It's
is a
better.
fact.
It's better when your hand doesn't split open, right? Can we agree on that?
Well,
that
hey,
the
easy,
extra-
easy.
I'm
Don't
hoping
be
that
negative.
the extra day between games 1 and 2 that he'll get will be give him a little extra time to get that right. But damn, you look at the next couple of games. You play Tuesday, you play again on Friday, and there's a nice window where if you get, for example, if you get a lead like this, I find a way to get him off the damn court sooner rather than later. This felt like a game where he really should have been playing in the fourth quarter because the game should have been over by then. So figure out a way to get him reduced minutes, which means other guys got to play better.
It's not that he can't play with what he's got right now.
What the hell?
You just don't.
A clean tear of the ACLs.
That's an old
That's
joke.
an
That's an
inside.
original
Yeah, that's
joke.
an inside joke.
I was about to say.
Yeah, Matthew,
You can
you're
make
day
a full
one. You're
recovery
day
if
one
you're
viewer.
That's a day one viewer right
That's
there.
a day one viewer.
John still claims he was right about
It's
that.
like what?
I was clearly proven right. His career ended.
Yeah, we just have to hope that Jaylen Brown's career doesn't end with a cut on his finger. But it's not so much that what he has right now is an issue. It's just like, will it open up and get worse? Will he need more stitches? Will he need to put stitches back in? You know what I mean? Like, you don't want it to linger into something that could actually be a bigger issue. So,
Yeah,
I don't know.
This
Of
is
all
so
the kind of
funny, it
injuries
doesn't
that
make sense.
players can have, though, this is the one that I'm.
John is the boy who cried
sleep
wolf,
about.
John's just a boy.
Literally,
He's just a boy who cried.
That's not what this parable is about, my friend.
Yeah, it is.
You should go back and read it.
It's the boy who cried wolf because if you're upset about everything or if you're worried about everything, then people aren't going to take your worry seriously.
I'm not worried about
when
it.
it is actually worrisome.
I am relaying information, Jimmy.
Okay.
Jaylen Brown said he split his hand open.
He did.
I'm just telling people about it.
Right. This is just factual. This is a news show. No opinions, just facts.
It's just facts.
Hey, shout out Spain.
But you can't talk about it, John. It doesn't matter if it's fact. Don't mention it.
Yeah. Again,
You're gonna make Jalen
Thank you,
upset.
Pablo.
for all of the
Worldwide.
Yeah,
he split his hand open, came back, played better for what it's worth. He was great.
Yeah, maybe he
He's
should
still
do it
good.
more.
Maybe that's the key. Open up that damn cut and play. He plays better with a cut hand. There we go.
I don't know. Honestly, like you said, tape the crap out of it, super glue it shut, and just go.
And just have your cut guy ready at every timeout, just with all the bandages and the moisture absorbent pads, whatever the hell you got to do. Find a way to stop that damn cut.
Yeah.
No swimming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no
my
watering
cousin cut his
plants.
hand
No
a
watering plants.
couple months
Hire
ago.
someone
He's
to
never
do
been
that.
the same.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll see there. We got JB's in the interview room. See if we can roll back that sound when we get it. Still waiting on Bobby, who's I don't know,
God
waiting
knows
for
what.
Luke. Yeah, I don't know.
You better not be eating lemon squares.
Waiting for
That's all
Luke
I
at the
know.
Red Lobster.
Oh, speaking of, I got to maybe I'll say it for later. Maybe I can say it now. I got a story. It's a Celtics post game show type of story. You know what I mean? One of those stories that wouldn't be as funny anywhere else. But let me know.
All right, this better be funny, Josue,
that's
because
most of
you
our
got our
stories.
attention.
That's most
Is
of
that
our
be
stories,
what?
to be honest.
It better be funny. Damn it.
I mean, it's ironic, I guess. So remember when we were our last show, we were talking about things that people say that piss us off and all that stuff, and kind of giving each other crap.
Yeah.
And Sherrod and I, we went with the Bobby and the Cornet thing, right? So I'm leaving the press conference room, and I'm walking through the set of doors, long hallway. Sherrod, Jimmy, you guys know the new setup is kind of
it's kind of
crazy.
wild.
You feel like you don't know when it's going to end. It's kind of like
It's a
a maze.
labyrinth, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, exactly. So I just happened to look down right before the last push bar to open the door, and I see a basketball card on my foot. And I'm like, what, is that a basketball card? What is this thing? Maybe someone signed something. It's like an older card, though. Dude, it's Frank Cornet, Luke's dad.
That fell out of Bobby's pocket. That definitely fell out of Bobby's pocket.
2 days after I'm talking about Bobby, stop talking about the Cornets and all that. What are the chances I pass his dad's Luke?
Is that in the
Cornet's
plastic
father?
wrapper?
Yeah, it's
So-
red. Well, no, you can take it out. It's one of those, the
No,
slits.
I know, but it's
back
like
in the day.
they're trying to protect it like it's worth anything.
I mean, I didn't see
Bobby
it
asked
today.
for it, and Luke dropped it, and he's like, "Freak, Bobby! My dad's. I don't know what's that.
Yeah.
He's looking for it right
I
now.
got lemon
Bobby's on the
squares.
show.
I got lemon squares.
As soon as I show Bobby this, he's gonna be like, "Oh, I was trying to get that earlier."
Where'd you find my card?
Yeah, I got you, Bobby's right here.
That's awesome.
Frank Cornet,
item.
play for the Bucks.
Where are his stats on the back?
I was hoping you wouldn't. Actually,
They weren't good, Josue.
Yeah.
I looked them up before. They were not.
they're college stats. College stats. College stats
so
pretty
is
good.
that a rookie card?
It's a rookie card, yeah.
Oh my
He got paid.
God.
He got paid in SARs, not in dollars, when he played.
Yeah.
16.8 at Vanderbilt. 16.8 points.
Well, Vandy. Okay.
Yeah. Rookie year with the Bucks. 89-90 season.
Okay. Hey, not bad. Not bad.
All right, it's not bad. I guess it was worth mentioning. I don't know.
I thought it was a good story, Josue. I appreciate it.
I was like, is this on your material or posted?
But you need to give it back to its rightful owner.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll go ask him around Tuesday.
So just when you find Bobby, just give it back to him.
Yeah.
Right.
Bobby will get it to his rightful owner. For sure.
Yeah, we'll just give it to Bobby and get it to the rightful owner because, of course, it's not Bobby's
which is
card.
Bobby,
Of course
yeah.
not.
Hey, what do we think of Derek White today? I think this is gonna be Derek White's coming out playoff
Jimmy,
year.
remember my bold prediction. Derek White maybe will be the best player in at least one series.
I thought you were going to say that, Jimmy. I was going to be like, Sherrod literally said that.
He said that. No, I just think the general public are gonna become way more aware of Derek White than I think, like more casuals.
Yeah, and to me, I think that's where Derek White is trending now towards. Like, everyone knows about Tatum and Brown and all those guys, but it's the casuals,
Right.
the casuals that don't really know that this guy is really good. And I think the playoffs, you're right, Jimmy. It'll be an opportunity for folks to see how good this kid really is at both ends of the floor. Because I thought he was really impactful. Not only scored the ball, but his defense on Trae Young was really good. Forcing Trae Young to not get to the spots he wanted to, but the spots that they wanted him to shoot from.
Yeah, and again, did it on both ends too. So, I mean, he's been their third best player all year. And again, I mean, we see it obviously, but I think if you're just sitting on your couch today watching 8 hours of basketball, you might be Googling Derek White because you're not really familiar with a lot of what he's about. But I mean, he's been huge for them. I already did a basically apology cam about my lack of faith going into the season. Hey, I'm happy to be wrong. I think this guy's he's just doing his thing, and on the situations where it's like Tatum takes the second half off the game, or Jaylen Brown has to go in the locker room and get his hand rewrapped. Like Derek White's pretty damn consistent out there. Like can't remember too many times where I've been like, why isn't this guy bringing it right now? He seems to, when he's out there, he seems to be just all over the place.
Yeah.
What's great about White is like the way he's kind of what he's kind of become this year or been for the team is just it's dependable. It's actually and you didn't get it from Brogdon tonight. It wasn't a Brogdon game in that regard, but the two of them together are usually and have been almost all year so dependable that they actually do kind of pull you out of the muck sometimes when things aren't going great. If you're having one of those slow start Tatum games or one of those games where like they're disjointed, those guys tend to settle it and kind of bring you back and do the core things because they're so consistent. Like they don't take plays off. Really, they kind of continue with their process all the time. And obviously, some nights it's just not going to go for them, like any other human. But like they never waver. Effort never wavers. Approach never wavers. With both White and Brogdon, tonight was just another kind of like White example. It was, just he was that guy. He was just that kind of presence almost throughout the game, which is amazing. And again, Mazzulla's figured it out, obviously, because he played him 39 minutes tonight. So, I mean, he's clearly, kind of figured out, like, I'm going to ride this guy, because it's so steady almost all the time.
Yeah, it's been consistent, his production, and especially in the best of 7 series where teams are going to do their best and try to minimize the damage between Jalen and Tatum. And I thought that in that third quarter that presented that opening for Derek White. I mean, Tatum and Brown, don't get me wrong, they didn't stop, right? They kept it going, but throughout possessions where you don't have them as options, or whether it's the Atlanta Hawks doubling down or getting guys out of the play, Derek White always finds a way to get his fingerprints on the play, right? Whether it's making the right pass, finishing, heading to the basket, getting to the free throw line, being aggressive. And I thought that, the production from White and Malcolm Brogdon, you just see these two guys constantly filling that void that was missing last season, and just makes the Celtics team that much tougher to defend.
We mentioned there was a quote there on Tatum. Tatum was frustrated at the lack of calls. He didn't take his first free throw until the fourth quarter, I think, tonight. Look, it is a shocker. I thought a lot of what happened around the rim for him was more great move, tough finish, and they didn't fall, more than him getting hammered necessarily. Stars might get a call too where they're kind of falling off balance, but I do feel that he tried to finish difficult a few times after making like ridiculous moves to get into the paint. He missed like 3 highlight level kind of reverses or whatever there. But do you think he was getting hammered tonight? I didn't feel like one of those nights where it was egregious, but he definitely got frustrated.
No, he definitely got a few calls that should have been made that didn't. Yeah. But I also, he has to remember that he made a lot of tough baskets at the rim also. And so, to me, you just keep playing. I mean, with getting calls and not getting calls shouldn't impact how you played in the second half, because you were aggressive in the first half. And I think a big reason why you weren't getting calls is because you were finishing with consistency. And that's kind of how that stuff works. And Atlanta was doing, I thought, a good job of being aggressive without necessarily drawing attention to that aggression. They were physical with him, and I think there were a number of times where you could have definitely made a foul call, but they chose not to because Atlanta was smart about how they defended him and just didn't allow it to be as aggressive looking as I know it probably felt to Tatum being out there.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll bring in Bobby here to close things out for us.
Bobby!
Yeah. What's going on, Bobby?
You got me, guys.
We got you. You're on the podium right now, dude?
Real quick. Remember, Sherrod, what I was saying earlier about my spot being compromised? Bobby over here, I guess, gives 0 what, because he's just up on that podium. But you know what?
Yeah.
They're all done, so I probably should do the same thing. Shout out to Bobby.
Hey, it's the only spot I could see.
Podium Bobby.
No, that's a great backdrop for obvious reasons.
Yep. All NBA Bobby. Bobby, let's look at it close. Yes.
Hey.
There he is. Bobby, can you shift the camera over so we don't get that ugly white part of it? So it looks the other way.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
One more.
Not bad.
Scooch, Bobby, scooch.
Yeah.
He's good.
There you go.
Good.
There you go.
Right.
Perfect.
So Jalen watch. That's the story tonight.
Don't tell people that, Bobby.
Not the most comfortable looking performance for him out there, but better than I expected. Throwing down dunks.
Yeah.
Making it work. Having a great game.
He made it work.
maybe the best, most aggressive Celtic. And I said that last night, John. They need him forcing the issue the way he does. Even in the second half, some of the timely makes while Jason struggled from the field and struggled to get shots off in general. It was an important performance. The unfortunate part is it sounds like he re-injured it. He said it burst open. He's going to get it looked at tomorrow. He had to have another Band-Aid applied when he went to the locker room. So maybe a setback there. We'll see. The next availability for us is on Monday, so we won't hear about it tomorrow. But that doesn't sound great to me.
That's not great. No.
Oh,
burst
we
open.
We don't know. We don't know.
Some people think it's great, Bobby. There's enough people in our chat that actually thinks it's great.
Did he
that
say the
split his
word
hip.
burst?
He
open?
said burst.
It's typically not how you want to describe a hand.
He said burst. There's people in the chat who believe your cut bursting open is actually a positive thing.
Right. Was it like health? Did it look like blood flow was good though? Like it wasn't like no issues, right?
No, he said he had to mess around with whatever he was wearing on it throughout the game and just manage it. The shot looked off, though. That mid-range particularly, where if he gets that off, you almost think it's always going to go down.
I think it was more the handle, Bobby. I think he was afraid to dribble into traffic.
Yeah, and he did blame it for the 6 turnovers. He said he just couldn't get a feel on the ball. So
Oh, that's so weird. What? He said
didn't say
that?
Yeah.
I thought we were making it up.
This is why I was talking about, Sherrod. Like, it's great that he's out there. And, you know, there was a huge positive in this game. I don't know if you win that game if he's not out there. But he's clearly not himself. And you hope that just day in and day out they can stop it from bursting and prevent it from being an issue or a nagging issue for the entirety of the playoffs.
Wow.
Yeah,
Burst
I mean,
open, affected him. Any other good news that you have for us about Jalen?
Well, there was so we were in the locker room talking to Marcus, and
I swear I thought you were going to say Luke Cornett.
No.
Me too.
I got to catch up with Luke soon though on the desserts. But
No, you really don't.
tonight, Marcus, I had a slip up because I asked him. I was like, Marcus, you know, Jalen's playing with that cut on his hand. Have you ever gone through anything like that? And he started laughing. Everybody started laughing. I was like, oh crap, because we all know, of course, what Marcus went through back in the day with the.
Bobby got jokes.
Mirror, whatever.
Bobby got jokes.
Chat, don't.
Yeah, he said after. He said after. He thought I was messing with him, but yeah, he said it's not easy. It's not easy going out there and doing that. Smart, of course, had it on his shooting hand as well. What year was that, Sherrod? 2019?
A couple years ago. It was like 2 or 3 years
I
ago.
think it was 2019, yeah. And, you know, still feeling the effects of it today. I think he actually said just recently fully healed. You know,
It was like
after effects of that for
the
years.
discussion around that was like potentially career ending if it was slightly different with
Yeah.
the nerves and X, Y, and Z. Like that was pretty significant. Like that was
he revealed that in an interview too. Yeah, that it could have ended his career. And if I'm not mistaken, there's still pieces of glass in his hand. I think he said that. If I'm not mistaken, that was his quote. That he didn't want it to do any other procedures after that for obvious reasons that could make things worse.
Yeah, I think it's all out now after all these years, which is good. But yeah, that was dangerous. The Brown thing sounded dangerous to. I mean, these guys got to stay away from glass. That's why I just told Marcus. I was like, you guys just all glass, just stay away.
Yeah, plastic only right now.
Plastic cups, plastic.
You know, Jalen was like, "Man, Bobby's
Paper,
probably the only
plastic.
one that believes my boss." So, yeah.
But I don't know. Could this linger through the entire postseason for Jalen?
I think it depends how quickly they can beat the Hawks. If they can sweep the Hawks, maybe they get a few extra days, and that's all it takes to. There's just a certain part in the healing, I think, of it, where the skin needs to just heal over the wound. If it doesn't, if he keeps reopening it, then yeah, it's gonna linger.
You think he'll
I
need
don't know
stitches
what the
again,
answer
John?
is. Yeah, Dr. John, what do you think?
I mean, what else? I don't know, man. What else do you do when a cut that needed stitches bursts open? Don't you have to close it back up somehow?
Right back up. He got asked.
But again,
about it,
I don't
so
know.
we'll
There
take
could
a
be
look.
like there is like they have other ways to close cuts and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there is essentially like a glue.
That must have
you know,
been what
that
they
just
did
kinda,
today.
Huh?
Does Jalen need a
That
cut
must have been
guy
what they
on
did
the bench?
today.
Yeah.
You might need a cut guy on the bench the rest of this series.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I
Wound
think he's just
specialist.
it's really less about, I mean, I have no idea, right? I mean, I don't know, man. Like, what you don't want to hear is like, yeah, I'm
The
gonna
word
have to
burst.
miss 3 games. Like he was ruled out immediately when he cut it for 2 games, and then he didn't practice fully for a week. If it goes back again, like, is there a possibility he misses games? I don't know. It's not worth speculating yet, but like, I don't think you can throw it out that like he could not only not be effective, it could miss time, or it's nothing and it's just kind of a weird wrap he's going to play with for a little bit.
I think he's going to play no matter what.
John,
think he
do you
plays.
want me to get a nurse on the show to give her expert opinion?
I want her to tell you what's going on.
No, I can get her. I can probably find a couple.
Here's
of them on the
Jalen
show.
right now. Here was Jalen. What we're talking about with when he was asked about the hand.
Jalen, first of all, how's the hand after the game here?
It's fine. It split open during the game, but it's fine now.
What do you need to get like restitched, or is that just part of what do you do?
I think it's gonna be all right. Let's take a look at it tomorrow.
Oh man.
Let's split open.
First of all, Bobby,
It's gonna be all right. Split
It was
open.
Wrong
split,
word.
not burst, my friend. Okay.
Jeez,
Is it close
Bobby.
enough?
Burst
Are you
is
even
right.
Much
there?
worse.
Are you even covering this team?
Bobby's he's wearing a suit in his basement with the NBA thing.
He's got his backdrop, everything. He's playing us, man.
Burst
right, so-
is a little bit worse than split, I'll admit. Apologies.
Okay.
It's just more vivid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's split, and luckily
But
blood,
it's the same thing.
blood didn't burst out of the split.
Yeah, because
didn't
when you think about a
explode.
burst, you expect some type of explosion.
Yeah, like ketchup bottle squirting out of your finger. Like,
His hand exploded.
right.
But it's fine.
But it's just split open. Okay.
Yeah.
When you heard split, Bobby, did you just? I wish you could have seen your face. Did you just shake your head like, "Oh, I screwed up," or?
Yes.
Okay,
But it's
just
close
making
enough.
sure. It is close enough.
It doesn't
the point.
matter.
The point
Bottom line is
stands.
just-
The point
bottom line,
stands. It's
an
not
issue.
good.
And it's an issue going into game 2. And none of us, including Jalen, really knows how it's going to impact him. And I think the focus more than anything else is just making sure that they can, as best they can, not have that damn thing split again. Because I gotta believe multiple splits is not
When
good.
it burst, Sherrod.
Multiple splits, burst, divides, whatever the hell you want to call it, it's not
Flex,
good.
Yeah. No,
Leaks.
it's true. They do make the flex. I've seen
Flex.
that commercial.
That dunk was
Seen that
great, though.
commercial.
That was a nice moment. and
Angry.
He powered it down. Felt good about that because we didn't see anything, John, all week. I didn't see shooting. I didn't see.
I didn't think
dunking,
we'd see a dunk.
Kind of dribbling. Yeah.
It's the dribbling.
If there's anything tentative, it was the dribbling.
It's the dribbling. Majorly favoring just not touching it a lot. I think that's the point. It's just not getting a lot of contact. You know,
Right,
like
right.
shooting is cradled and it's soft, but the bounce back and the pounding and this and that, plus the feel for that thing. I think that's what got him most. Like, I mean, 2-hand dunking a ball, different story. But it's like that's what it's going to come down to, the feel and whatever they put on it now, whether or not it's going to like impact what he normally does. But yeah, again. Good that it's Atlanta. Good that it's early in the playoffs. Would be worse if he was dealing with something that was during a series where they would need 100% of him, right out of the gate. It doesn't sound like, whatever. But I think we'll see. Could be a lot of different things. I have to agree with you guys that he plays. Regardless, it's just how much is it going to bother him? This is what he was talking about. This might be your question, Bobby, just in terms of like how if at all, it impacted him.
It's fine. Especially with the adrenaline in the game, you kind of just get it going. But at times throughout the game, I had to, readjust it, and stuff like that. I got a lot of padding on it, so it's a different feel. Shooting the ball, just adjusting and adapting to the game. That's it.
Man, that's a guy where he could be on cloud 9 or down in the dumps. I don't think we'd ever know. So he might be fine. You wouldn't be able to tell, but he might just be fine. Who knows?
Well,
But
the point
again,
is he can deal with it. At
He's
29,
pointing out
12
that it's a
and 3.
problem.
Right.
He's pointing out that it's something he's got to deal with. He's not using it as an excuse, which is good, but it's a thing.
It's a thing. It's a thing that's real, and that is, you know, how much it affects them, how much it impacts them versus the Hawks. Hard to say. Today, not clearly.
I mean, that's the biggest takeaway about it, right? Like, it's a thing now. I mean,
it's a thing.
A lot of people who were previewing this matchup, this series, and they didn't even mention shit. Did we mention it a couple nights ago? I mean, I think it was all in the back of our minds, but we didn't see it as something that could influence the series to force this thing to 7 or something, or to that effect. I guess we were all sort of waiting to see what he would look like, but yeah, now it's a thing for sure. I mean, you're gonna wonder if it's gonna happen again. You're gonna hope, you know, or wait and see if Bron can put together these performances, you know, consecutively. And if when he does it, the moment he does put up a dud, people are gonna point at that and say, "Well, what's going on with his hand?"
Yeah, again, recovered, you know. One hand, JB might be good enough to beat the Hawks, so that might not be a problem. But again, you don't know. We'll see. Again, we'll have to see. We'll see how big a thing it is, but it is a thing. It's still a thing. Any other thoughts outside of JB closing, heading into the second game?
Shout out Canada.
Yeah,
I'm thrilled with the defense. I waited all year.
I think so too.
Thanks,
I waited all year to see this. The swarming, holding them to 6% from 3 into the second half, just overwhelming. This is the first time all year you saw a team completely overwhelmed. And again, this is a good Atlanta offense. A lot of dangerous pieces, shooters, finishers. Clint Capella got nothing off early. Young 3 for 13. Murray held in check. All the steals, turnovers, and disruptiveness, and the defensive rebounding. How good was that? You know, they had slip-ups in that area, but nothing that cost them. They made second and third efforts, and then I wasn't sure what the atmosphere was going to be like here tonight, especially compared to last year, that just circus atmosphere for the Nets Celtics opener. Once Horford, after that third stop in a row, was pumping his fist at half court, this place just went into a frenzy. It was a great atmosphere tonight. The energy was unbelievable in that first half. Ahmed actually asked me, because I guess our Discord's freaking out a little bit about that second half. There's probably some things you look back on and say, that's not great. But what you did in the first half, just blowing this team out of the building, far, in my mind, surpasses any of the slip-ups in the second half.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bobby, but, you know, I'm super negative, so you can't really count on me. But I tossed the second half, too, because I don't think it really –
They went up 30.
The game – there's nothing good happens once you go up 30. It's just nothing good happens. That's that. They won the game in 24 minutes. That's all. That was it.
Joe had a funny joke. Someone asked him if he's concerned. He's like, I'm very concerned.
I know.
We played it.
We played that.
That was great.
Bobby, we do have one question for you, though.
What's that?
Oh, hold on. I'm screwing it up here. I just screwed it up. Damn it.
Jimmy's racing through chats.
Sorry.
Be like that, man.
Are you missing a basketball card, Bobby?
You gotta get another higher.
I don't get it.
All right, then it's not his. It's not his.
It's not but
Josue found a basketball card on the elevator.
This isn't yours?
He wasn't
Who
sure
is
if it was
that?
yours. Oh, you know who it is.
Cornette Senior, Frank Cornette.
Oh,
Frank Cornette.
You found it on the elevator?
Did he bring this for you?
I could use that. Hold on.
No, I found it, man. What are the chances? This thing
What are
is,
the odds?
The search
I
continues.
do see him
Darren.
around here. I'm guessing he was here tonight.
I guess so. All right, we'll talk about
Maybe it's
prices
his.
now.
Some people want. I think this is fair, but some people want a little bit of
Frank Cornette, yeah.
a little bit of Rob, a little more Rob love. I'll ask this question: was this all the way Rob, or
Jimmy thought so.
Or I mean, for real, is this? It's hard to remember fully, like pre-knee injury Rob and exactly what he was like without going back and watching entire games just to see all of it, the movement.
this was close.
But this is close, right?
Yeah, this is definitely close, and I think it's close in part because Rob did a lot of the pre-injury Rob things, and it looked easy for him out there. And that's to me what I'm looking for. I want him to get back to the point where he's doing amazing things, and it looks effortlessly out there. When he caught that one lob from Tatum, it's like his damn elbows were like at the rim, and he just kind of waited there for a second for his verticality to recalibrate to dunk the ball without it popping out the rim. And he just threw it down, and it was just one quick, precise, efficient motion. That's what you want to see from Rob. You want to see him doing the things that he's capable of doing at a high level and look effortlessly, because that's what we saw before he got hurt. So
For
this
sure.
was close to that. Not all the way back, but this was definitely close.
Yeah, I agree, man. This is newfound Rob at his best. You know, if you want to go with that. I mean, outside of maybe finishing if this is a close game, does he finish the game or not? I mean, that's the biggest difference, right? Which is a version of Rob Williams that's outside of the starting lineup, but that's okay. That's fine. There's still space for his production. Still a void that needs to be filled off the bench, and a reason why we didn't see Grant Williams tonight, right? We didn't see him at all because this team can win without him. They've clearly proven that, and what you get out of Rob is it makes such a difference. It makes you that much a tougher team to beat, you know, especially in the playoffs, especially when you got the entire team and the arena on your side, man. Checking in, you get the standing ovation, you know, big rebounds, huge block, man. That block, fast break block on Murray, like that's the kind of stuff that not only can shift the momentum into your favor, but it gets everyone on the same page, right? It gets everyone going, and I think it's a beginning of more to come out of Rob coming off that bench and just filling that role, that newfound role.
Yeah, I still don't think it's 100, but it's close.
It's close.
As close as we've been, and if you get this all the way through with no setbacks, you're fine. I'd still like to see a guy who can play more than 22 minutes, but if you get 22 minutes of this every night, that's probably good enough. You know,
most of it came in the first half. Well, in the first quarter, though, I thought that was the most amount of touches he received in the first quarter.
ton of touches,
year.
but he was
They utilized
everywhere. Ugh.
Yeah, offensive rebounding and both sides. The competition on the boards got intense tonight, and they won it. I'm stunned they won it. When I looked up and saw they were pretty even on the offensive glass at one point, I was like, wow, because the Hawks got a lot, but the Celtics worked just as hard and ended up running away with that in the end.
They did. And again, more Rob probably tilts that number. Celtics definitely had the benefit of some weird, like, long bounce, loose ball sort of offensive boards as well. But like when Rob's there, just keeping it active and tapping it out and all of that, he's so friggin' good at that.
Hot tub Time Lord machine. That's what I'm calling him.
Speaking of Time Lord, I
get it.
I can't believe
it was part-time Lord for a little bit, right?
It was part-time Lord. Now
I
it's
can't
hot tub
believe how
Time Lord
fast he
machine.
gets out of the building after games. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, that burst is back.
Yeah.
There's a place you could use burst.
Spring has sprung. We're talking about Rob.
Yeah.
All right, time to go.
He split.
That's gonna
Rob
do it.
split. We're gonna split.
That'll do it. I ended the show with too many bad puns.
That's fine. We're back on Tuesday. Enjoy Marathon Monday, best day of the year. Coming up on Monday for the Greeks and the rest of you Orthodox out there. Kali Anastasi, Kalo Pascha. Well, I'm sure you guys are cooking up some stuff, getting ready for tomorrow.
That's right.
Greek Easter, Greekster, as we like to call it.
Happy Easter. Happy Greekster.
Yep. Egg wars. You guys know what those are?
No. Actually, I've heard of it. Yeah.
That's right. It's lamb day for you guys. Huh?
It's the best. It's the best.
What are the egg wars again?
You basically just kind of butt eggs together, nose to nose and butt to butt, and then you get one winner at the end. You get like a family champion. Yeah.
Wow. There you go. I think this is Greek.
It's called tsugrisis. That's when you bang them together. That's what it's called. But it's
how long is that?
I love
Quite the
lamb.
tradition.
You do that?
What's that?
How long is Matt? Is it really long?
Oh, I don't know. You know, it's long. You could do it all. You could do it all week long. You can go. You can get after it if you really want to get churchy with it.
I got Monday off, Patriots Day, so I might have to do a little extra celebrating of Greek Easter tomorrow.
Yeah. There we go.
And I might have to hit up Otani at Fenway. Then I'm going to game one of the Bruins games, so I have a full weekend ahead.
I made a pasticcio. That's like the Greek lasagna.
The Bruins were here tonight. Got a pretty good ovation.
I saw that. Pasta.
I am Dave. I am fluent. Yeah.
John, they had a version of that here like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Yeah. And it wasn't bad, but I went to Corrales for the review, and he said it was okay, decent.
It's okay.
Just okay.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's
it's lasagna is good though. Wow.
It's good. It's good. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. We'll see you guys on Tuesday.